Welcome back to the program. I thought one of the interesting things we could accomplish in our hour today is kind of a fan's guide as to what the offense is about. Dave Womack's already told us the defense is organized chaos.
Right.
Well, if the defense is organized chaos, I can hardly wait to hear what this is. But let's be logical about it. It's football, first of all.
Right.
But when people say that Paul Johnson's offense is the triple option, they're not really covering the bases, are they?
Well, not really. That's one play, and that's we run that play, maybe 20% of the time or 15, depending on the game. Sometimes less than that, but it would be just like calling an I formation and say that's the sprint draw offense or the lead draw or whatever. So yeah, it's kind of I guess a misconnotation, if you will.
All right. Now, where did this start? Where did you come up with? This is the best way for my coaching staff or the way I like to play football. And if I'm ever a head coach, this is what I'm going to run. Where did it develop, I guess?
I think actually it goes back to a couple of things. When actually I was a defensive coach when I first started out at Georgia Southern with Coach Russell in the early 80s. And we always felt like the hardest offense to defend was the old wishbone offense with two wide receivers. And because you couldn't throw out of that offense as well, we wanted to get those guys up closer to the line. So I guess in 1984, Ben Griffith, who was the offensive coordinator at Georgia Southern, went and visited the Houston Gamblers with Mouse Davis, and they came back with the double slot run and shoot type deal. And they put a little bit of option with it, and they played that way for, 84, and Ben left. I was still coaching defense. And in 85, Coach Russell asked me to move over and take over the offense. So we did that, and we kind of got in it and started running more option, coupling it with the things and different schemes out of the option. And we've been doing it now for about 23, 24 years, and through the years, whenever somebody came up with a way to defend us that we felt like were tough, we'd add a wrinkle or add a play or add something in formation to it, and it's just kind of evolved. So it's a combination of a bunch of offenses put into one. And what we've got up here on the board is, just like a slot I formation that, a pro-style offense, if you would, that everybody runs or whatever. And as you can see, the guys are labeled, with X and Z at wide receiver. I put this guy as a Y, he could be whatever, another wide receiver, a fullback and an A-back. Well, if you come down here, this is our base spread alignment, and we still have the X and the Z, the receiver. We have what we call two A-backs. We could call one A and one Y if we wanted, but we just always call them A because they're interchangeable. And if you use quick short motion to get to here, what do you have?
An I formation.
The same one that you have there.
Right.
But you've done it with motion quickly. And now from a defensive standpoint, here they can't determine an offensive strength, where here is the two receiver side. So we could make the two receiver side either way with two-step motion. So we could basically run all the plays out of this that you can run out of this if we chose to do so. The personnel's a little bit different for us. This B-back guy is kind of the featured back as opposed to just a blocker that's a lead blocker up here. So he's the featured back in our offense. And with the quick motion, we can do a variety of things. And we could line up, if we wanted to get the strength of a formation, we could take this A-back and we could put him over here, and now you have trips. It's the same now by the motion. You can be in a twin eye. So you can do all the same things. There's not any plays you can run out of this that you couldn't run out of this. Now, historically, what we've done the last few years is we've been very heavy option oriented. Not just the triple option, but the midline and the counter and the speed and a lot of different areas. And then we've incorporated some run and shoot passing game with a sprint out game where we run three receiver routes where you might get your curling out like up here, and this guy would block as opposed to coming from back here and blocking. Same deal as here. Or, you can run four receiver routes where you change the pass pro and you send this guy out into the route. You can motion back to doubles. You could get in, motion this guy. Now you're in wide twins. So you can do about anything that you can out of this offense that you could do out of any of the others, really.
All right, let me ask you about the quarterback, because this is the trigger guy literally in the entire process. It's a read and react situation for him. How much of the time, and realistically, what are his basic responsibilities?
Well, it depends on a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of the options are reads, and it actually depends on how much this guy can handle and how good a player he is. You can limit what he has to do if the guys around him are better. You know, if you've got a really strong front and you may not ask him to read as much. You may just run some zone plays and hand the ball off and let him drop back and throw. Ideally, the perfect guy there would be a guy that understands the system, can get you in the best direction, because if the defense declares one side as a strength, we want to go the other way and make that the strength. So we pick up angles and numbers. So it's, you know, that guy has as much leeway as he can handle, and that's our job as coaches and mine, not to try to overload him and give him more than he can handle. So it's going to be a learning process, but it's, you know, it's no different than if this guy were up here. He's more involved in the running game for us than up here, but if you look today in today's offenses, the defenses are too good. If you don't have a quarterback that can run the ball, it's very tough to play. So that's why you see everybody wants the mobile quarterbacks no matter what they can do, because if the defense has to account for a runner at quarterback, it changes the way they can play.
Very quickly here as we come to a close, if I'm a fan coming to watch you play in August, September, October, you're going to go back into work in late July.
Right.
These kids will come back. You'll go through an entire month of practice to get ready for your season. How much more's got to go in? And when I see this offense, if I'm at Bobby Dodd on August 28th watching Jacksonville State, how will I know it's efficient?
Well, if it's moving the ball and scoring points. It's just like any other offense. There is no magic wand. We can't go out there and do this. But, you know, hopefully we're going to execute, and we may not put any more in until we can do what we're doing now. We've got enough in now to play with and we can do it right. You know, there's a lot of bells and whistles and little things you can add that may be added during a game.
Right.
You can change and tweak the way you're blocking or tweak the formation or whatever. But you know, the big thing is I really believe that you do what you do and you get good at it. And hopefully you'll see our team get better and better and better the more we do it, because we're going to be doing the same stuff over and over. And, you know, the fan may say, well, gosh, they know that play's coming. Okay, they still got to have somebody take each area, and we should be better at doing it more efficient than they are at stopping it if they're only working on it for 1 week.
Real quick before we go here, one of the things we saw in the spring game, the importance of downfield blocking by these guys, or the slots themselves when it's a D-back, or even when it's an A-back coming around the corner, and the X blocking. I mean, those are important aspects of what your success is about.
Oh, sure, and I think in any offense you got to block. The misnomer that wide receivers don't have to block, you know, I don't know many today that you can run where they don't block. But and it's important, and the A-backs understand that if they're good blockers, they're going to have a lot of big plays because they're blocking for each other on the perimeter. And if you're doing it right, there's a lot of times the ball's on the perimeter with 2 blockers and the ball carrier against 2 defenders. So if you're in their face and knocking them down, hopefully you have some big plays.
All right, we'll take a break. Final words with Coach Johnson right after this.